Hey everybody, welcome to the video and thanks for checking out the channel. My name's AC Stinson and I am training for a 50-mile ultra marathon.
Perfect. All right, put it in here. Good job. Today I'm out at a local park, getting an easy 5 or 6 miles in. All right, we just completed that run, 5 miles, 43 minutes, 55 seconds. Average pace was about 8 minutes, 46 seconds per mile. Felt great, guys. I was out running through a park on blacktop, hills, ups and downs. The knee felt good. Most importantly, I kept my heart rate in a pretty good spot. Very happy and pleased with that run. In fact, if I can look real quick, my average heart rate was 159. I told you before, I was trying to keep it in the 150 to 160 range, so I accomplished that.
Today, I want to talk about why. Why am I training for a 50-mile ultra marathon? But first, I want to quickly introduce myself for those of you who are new to the channel. I am 31 years old, believe it or not, and I am married. Been married for almost a decade now. In a couple months, I'll be married for 10 years, which is crazy. My wife and I, we have 3 amazing kids. Actually, our youngest, our 3rd kid, is just a couple weeks old. So we are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed over here, running on my 2nd cup of coffee today. But I have 3 kids, and right now I'm on a mission to complete a 50-mile ultra marathon. Believe me, I know that sounds crazy. I've told friends, and they're like, "You're doing what?" Especially with a newborn at home. And yes, I'm committed to completing this 50-mile ultra marathon. Why? Because I really like to challenge myself and to do hard things. I've seen the value of having mental grit and mental toughness in my life, and I'll share a little bit more about that in a minute. But I want to build that pain cave. I want to build that mental grit even further. And most importantly, I want to prove to myself that my best days are still in front of me. There's a lie that's seeped in for a couple weeks, that seeped into my mind that my best days were behind me. And I want to squish that lie. I've put that lie behind me, but I want to squish that lie and kill it and prove to myself and everybody else that great things are ahead of me. So why do I need to prove to myself? Why do I want to hopefully inspire others? It's because I've gone through a recent health battle. I battled ulcerative colitis for a couple years. It got really bad, really out of control. I lost all sorts of weight. And in December of 2021, so just about 2 years ago, I had my colon removed. And so now I have a colostomy bag. For those of you that aren't doctors or familiar with all that stuff, basically the moral of the story is I have a tiny piece of my small intestines that sticks out of my stomach, and I have a bag that collects my waste. I don't go to the bathroom like normal people anymore. I have a colostomy bag on me. And so that was 2 years ago. I had that surgery, a major surgery. It changed a lot in my life. And then in August of 2022, I had a 2nd major surgery to finalize everything. So, you know, at that time I was 29 years old. I'm now 31, but at that time I was 29 years old and I just had that 2nd major surgery, and it finalized that I will have this colostomy bag on me for the rest of my life. So fast forward 2 years, I'm 31 years old now, and I'm fully recovered from all the surgeries and everything that had to happen there. And I've been building a foundation, a cardio foundation in 2023. And in 2024, I am going to go ahead and take this to the next level. Now, just to set the record straight, this is not my first kind of rodeo with endurance sports. I did triathlons, I did sprint triathlons, Olympic distance triathlons. I did a half Ironman, all back in 2018 or earlier in my life. So I love endurance sports, and I even thought of doing another triathlon. However, the swim and the bike are so difficult to train for. You have to go find a pool, you have to find a safe place to ride your bike, whereas running, you can just put your shoes on and go out the front door and go run. So I decided I want to do an ultra marathon. A marathon in my mind, for what I wanted and what I wanted to prove to myself, wasn't enough. So I chose a 50 miler. That's what I'm going to start with. Maybe I'll do a 100 miler one day, but starting with a 50 mile ultra marathon. So along the journey of dealing with the health issues, there was lots of sleepless nights, long days. Through the journey of recovering from the surgeries, I've realized the importance of having mental strength and mental endurance. And I've always been a grinder. I've always been able to endure more pain than most people. That trait served me well during my athletic days, and that trait served me well during my health battle. I definitely drew upon a lot of the moments training and competing in the triathlons while I was sick. I can specifically remember moments that I would probably take 1 or 2 baths every single night, for a long time when I was sick. I just couldn't sleep and I lost a lot of weight. But anyway, I'd be lying there and I would think about just enduring one more hour, right? And my mind would go to my half Ironman days, and I would think about how much I suffered during that race and how I was just putting one foot in front of the other. So that mental toughness that you develop during doing those hard things served me well, and I realized that I don't want to stop. There's going to be other Goliaths. There's going to be other battlefields in my future, right? And I want to make sure that I continue to build my mental toughness. Now, you don't have to go do physical events to build mental toughness, but I think there's an extremely easy, simple translation that occurs in your mind when you challenge yourself physically. I think it builds mental toughness, spiritual strength. I think there's a lot of great side effects when you go do hard physical things. So that's why I'm doing this, is I want to prove to myself I can still do it, but also I know the benefits of doing hard things. So join me, do something hard. It might be a 5K, it might be a 10K, I don't know, but hopefully this journey that I'm gonna document, I hope to document the 50-mile journey. Hopefully this will inspire you and encourage you to go do something hard. Get outside your comfort zone. That's where growth occurs, is when we step outside of our comfort zone, when we do something challenging, that's when growth happens. So join me, go do something hard. The first ultramarathon I'll do is in June, and possibly I'll complete a second one in July. We'll see how everything goes. We do have a third, a newborn at home, so this is gonna be challenging, but I'm excited. And this is not a New Year's resolution. I've been stepping foot and slowly building up for 4 to 5 months with this in mind. Now, we're 5 to 6 months away from the event. So how am I training? I'm training right now about 5 days a week of running. There's about 3 zone 2 easy runs every week. So right now, those zone 2 runs are 5-ish miles each. And my goal is to keep my heart rate low so that I can carry on a decent conversation and build up my kind of aerobic base. So the goal is to keep my heart rate about 150 or less, right? Then I'm doing 3 of those a week. Then I'm doing one, let's call it interval day. It might look like running hills. It might be on the treadmill doing, 2 minutes of sprinting, 1 minute of jogging or walking. It's going to vary based on the week. And then there's going to be 1 day a week of a long run. So that's 5 days a week of running. Slowly over the next month or 2, I'll make that 6 days a week. My current mileage, last week I was about 34 miles. That will continue to build. By the end of this, before I complete my first 50 miler, hopefully my long run will be about 40 miles. I probably won't step foot into the race having completed a 50-mile run, but that's normal. When you go run a marathon, usually your longest run is 23-ish miles, 22, 23 miles. So I'm looking forward to it. 5 days of running, plus I'm doing strength training as well. I know I'm not gonna get jacked in the process, but I hope to still maintain some muscle mass, and obviously no one hurt, it never hurts to look fit. So training and building muscle along the way. In the last season of my life, one of the things the Lord's really been showing me and teaching me is that we've got a need for strong men in our country. Our country's got a lot of issues, and I believe at the heart of these issues is a lack of strong biblical men. We've become weak, we've become passive, And this occurs outside the church, but I look within the church and I see a lot of weak, passive men. And as I've kind of been reading data, reading books, listening to podcasts, it seems as if there's a lot of confirmation of that. And so and the reason I realized this and I thought of this is I looked in the mirror at myself and saw in a lot of ways a weak, passive man. And I took ownership of that. And I'm trying to become a more biblically strong man. And so done a lot of, like, once again, reading on that, trying to figure that out. But I want to share some of the things I'm learning along the way because I think that it's a need for a lot of people out there. And the first thing I want to talk about today is something I saw on Instagram. An Instagram influencer was talking about the cost of chasing your dreams or the cost of kind of achieving anything worth substance in life. And he asked, what's it going to cost? And the answer was more than you want to pay. Isn't that so true though? It's cliche, but it's true that it's going to cost more time, more energy, and you're going to have to sacrifice more than you really want to. But if it doesn't involve much sacrifice, then it's probably not that worthwhile. So guys, when you look at your life and what you're trying to accomplish, are you trying to accomplish something with some substance, something meaningful with purpose? Because if so, it's probably going to cost more than you want to pay. And so I look at, in the biblical, I've been meditating on Luke 9:23 when Jesus is talking to his disciples and he says, come follow me, right? But anybody that wants to be my disciple must deny themselves, take up their cross daily. It says daily. Take up your cross daily. And for whoever wants to save their life will lose it, right? So we have to in order to save our life, it's going to cost us something. It's going to cost us to lose it. We have to deny ourselves. We have to follow him and be selfless. So guys, that's kind of the thought for today, is that we need to deny ourselves. Christ gave everything for us. He gave up everything for us. And now we need, is the response to that is to follow him, to deny ourselves, to seek his will, and to be selfless. So guys, looking forward to this journey. Hopefully you'll follow along. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and share this with a friend, and be patient with me. I'm learning how to do all this editing stuff and figure this all out. So looking forward to it though.